Yeah, that's it.
Nice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the RGM Experience podcast with me, Carl Maloney, that guy from RGM, bothering you again for another week here, discussing the music industry at the RGM Experience podcast. And if you're new to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Nice one. We're basically a podcast where we delve into the grassroots music industry and beyond and find people, interesting people within it. And today, we've got James from Rolla joining us today. Hey, up, mate. You all right?
How you doing, pal? You good?
Yeah, sound mate, sound mate. I was looking back to the archives and just to see the last time we had a chat, and that was episode 68 of the podcast. We're nearly at 200 now.
Wow.
A few weeks have passed, and that was December 2022. You just had a few gigs with Kasabian
Yeah.
at that time, and it feels like yesterday, but a few years have passed since then. So, hiya.
Yes. It flies by. The time flies when you're having fun
Yeah,
again.
yeah. So you're still having fun then?
Oh, aye. Oh, aye. Won't be doing it otherwise.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Well, it's really interesting. You know, we're here to discuss what the music industry is like and speak to people within it, and everybody has their own journey within it, and it's fascinating. Everybody's journey is different. So, just like looking back at those Kasabian gigs and reflecting on, that experience of being on the big stages and supporting that band. How do you guys like reflect on that now, where you are now? Because just from the outset, I can see you've got these big gigs coming up. Your own, the size of gigs that you're booking yourself as a headline bands have increased massively since
Yeah.
since 2022. How do you reflect back on, back in December 2022 when you were just fresh off tour with Kasabian?
Yeah. I think now well, at the time, it was kind of, it all just happened and we took it in our stride, enjoyed every minute of it. But I think now looking back, it's probably one of the biggest learning curves we had
Mm.
in the sense of just taking everything in, seeing how like the top dogs do it,
Yeah.
and just like the level of production and everything like that. And I think we still now, when we're planning our shows or
Yeah.
looking at tours, and we still take bits back from them shows and say, all right, well, we know where we need to be and we know what needs to happen. And yeah, I think it's a great experience to take with us and keep using. And yeah, probably the biggest learning curve, or not, maybe not learning curve,
Yeah.
but like the experience to know how it's done, basically.
Yeah. So you've had those big experiences, and now you're creating your own big shows, and you've got this massive gig coming up in Manchester, New Century Hall. That's a big hall to fill, in it. I've seen quite a few local bands that are doing it. Cover Sets did it. You
Yeah,
guys are doing it now. When I did see it, I thought that's a step up. When I saw the announcements of it,
yeah.
how have you got to that stage yourselves? What kind of how do you know? Well, go on, answer that first question first. I've got a habit of asking about 10 questions at the same time. Go on.
Yeah, I think it felt like we did Grilla last time,
Yeah.
and our first headline was at Night and Day, so that was like double when we did Grilla, and we took that step up. And then this time it was sort of like doing thinking about Band on the Wall or Academy 2, and it was like let's crack on and do that classic roller style of going above where we're meant to be, and punching above our weight. And
Yeah.
it's worked well and served us well having that mentality so far. So it felt right to do it. And when we went down and checked the venue out as well, it was just like
Yeah.
you could picture it. You could picture yourself on the stage, the room absolutely full and bouncing, and it's a cool venue, man.
I love the roof in that place.
Yeah, all the lights are insane. The electricity bill must be through the roof.
So is it a little bit of a risk then? Going above and beyond where some people might perceive you up where you were.
I mean, there's probably always a little bit of risk when you do gigs, I
Yeah.
think. But I think that's life, isn't it? You got to take risks to get to the top, and if you don't take them, you're just going to be flatlining and staying where you are. So yeah, it's definitely risk, but it's good risk, I think, and
Yeah.
we're confident that we're gonna get the room bouncing, and it's gonna be fucking insane, to be fair.
Yeah, well, I think last time I saw you in real life, we're down at Bread Shed. I think it was one of this feelings best of gigs. Parve were
Oh yeah,
Arcala, and there were a few bands playing. I think we had a little drink and a catch up then, but
yeah.
is it still, how are this feeling? Because hands on the table. We've always shouted about how much this feeling can take bands to the next level. As a band that have been through that journey, is it them that are pushing you on to do bigger venues? Is it you guys yourself? How's the dynamic of working with different promotional teams and having the ambition yourself? How does that manifest itself?
This feeling are amazing, to be fair, and I think they're always striving to push new bands and give that opportunity out, and we've kind of been look like part of that. But the dynamic we have is really good. Like Mikey and George, they know where our goals are, and we've always kind of been on the same page. And they're just brilliant. They've done absolutely pretty much everything for us and more. If you're a new band and you're looking for gigs and you want to get in the industry, definitely hit up this feeling for some shows, because the opportunities they give bands is insane. And yeah, the relationship we have with them is it's never hard with them. Do you know what I mean? It's always easy. It's always, what are you thinking? We'll plan it out, have a chat. Where do you want to go? This is what we're thinking, and then it works out every time. So it's good.
Yeah, but there must be more to it than just that, though. Than just like it's just easy. I'm after insight, mate. Give us what you've got.
I mean, there's a lot of work that goes on in behind the scenes. Obviously, Mikey does a lot of managing for us, and George does a lot of things. Are constantly on emails every single day, going back and forth, looking, even just down to like social media and helping us out with that, and sort of giving us ideas. Like this collaborating thing you could do on Instagram, where we put a post out, we'll collaborate with them, and it goes out to all their followers. And they get right into the nitty gritty with everything and get fully involved, but still allow us and the band to live out our vision, and there's a lot that goes on.
Yeah. So a lot of, chatting, a lot of planning, a lot of keeping in touch with you, a lot of advice, getting you out to their audiences, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's it. I think, they know our vision. We're on the same path. It pretty much is as simple as that. We share the same passion and drive. And I think if this feeling, if they see a band that's got that passion and drive, they'll put everything into you. I think that's the key thing, having that drive and passion, and not just, being happy with staying here. They want to take everyone as far as they can take them and to the top. So it's mega.
It is interesting because there's a lot of bands out there, and there's a lot of bands that say they want it, but they don't show that they want it. If you get me. So I'm quite good at sniffing those out myself, and this feel like they've got those skills as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of bands when they first start out, and I think we fell foul of this as well. Is like you look at the gigs, you look at the booze and having a big party, and that's what you want. But then I think they don't realise how much work goes in at home, and like say emails and all the boring shit. And it's a full-time job essentially.
Yeah.
But it's got to be done. You've got, and even though it's boring, you've still got to have that same level of passion doing that than you do when you're on stage. Do you know what I mean? It's always got to be over 100%. So I think it's for some people and it's not for some people. I think those that it's not for, you do tend to see fall by the wayside, which is a shame, but it's not for everyone, is it? So.
Well, yeah. Have you got your hand over the mic on your phone? The audio's gone a little bit funny, mate, just so you know.
Yeah, we are at the rehearsal room as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, just rehearsing, brilliant. So it is interesting when you see bands, like say, we're going to be the next biggest, baddest thing, and you don't see them do anything on the socials. You don't see them. It takes them like 3 weeks to send an email back to you if they want everything from you straight away, and then like for example, I've booked bands before, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll do all this, we'll do all that. You book them, and then you don't hear out from them.
Yeah. That's it. You've got to be on it. I got to be on it all the time.
Yeah.
Nothing just happens. It's
Yeah.
not like the nineties anymore where someone's going to see you, give you a load of money, and you're big overnight or whatever. You've got. I mean, to be fair, it probably wasn't even like that in the nineties.
Yeah.
They probably still had to graft and put the groundwork in. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Roller then developing as a band, the lineup's changed a little bit. Talk us through about the new face that's in the band particularly and the changes that have happened over the last year or two.
Yeah, so we've got a new drummer in called Ryan. He was one of the founding members of Roller actually.
Oh.
Back when we was all together in Huddersfield, and then sort of parted ways early doors of Roller. I don't think we ever played a gig. Just lives got in the way, and then we sort of carried on. And then over the last few months, sort of made some tough decisions. But yeah, we got him back in, and it feels a bit full circle and a bit like it feels right. You know what I mean? And it's sounding incredible as well. It's not been a tough transition getting him into the band. It's been so easy. He's just come in, slotted right in. Yeah, we've all known him for years as well, so that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. So talk us through a few of those tough decisions you've had to make, then, if you don't
mind. Yeah, so we've just with our old drummer with Saul, sort of got to a little point where I think like lives get in the way a little bit. I think, and yeah, it was really shit because obviously we were best mates, and Tom's got his wedding coming up, and it got a little bit really tough, but for the better, hopefully. That's how it feels right now.
Okay, so obviously a tough conversation had to be had there, and the old guy. So how was the new drummer before then? So how many years has it been since you started? How long have you been going
now? God, what is it now? 2020? 5 years now this year.
Wow.
So it's been about 4 years. He's been in bands. He was in a band called Lip for a bit, drumming with them over the last couple of years. So yeah, it's been about 5. Like you say, time goes so quick. Forget where you're at. You know what I mean? About 5 years I think since we started. So it was sort of in the practice rooms. Never played a gig. Just started writing some of the early stuff. I think it was thinking of tomorrow maybe. Our first ever single. But yeah, it's been about 5 years. So long time coming, to be fair.
Yeah, well, you could always tell when a band's progressing as well because they start forking out for vinyl and stuff like that. And I know you've got a new release coming out on vinyl. It's always nice to see when you see a band, stretching themselves financially as well, which is a little bit scary. Yeah. But I know that's not cheap. But it just feels like the whole team around you has developed and changed. Booking you through PR and stuff. Where I just texted you last time. There's a team around you now, mate. It feels like things have really progressed. Talk us through how you've made all that happen, building a team around you.
I think it's sort of Mikey's been the sort of the cornerstone of it all from day one. Right. Sort of being that sort of managerial position and creating contacts, and through him we got some offers from labels. Signed to run on records for like an EP deal, and then so that's quite lucky that we're on a label as well. They've obviously helped sort of financially with the vinyl and all that stuff. And then we've got a nice team around us. We've got Kate Guiver doing PR, all the guys at Run on Records, which is like Modern Sky. They're all behind the scenes, and then Mikey's the workhorse basically. He's the don. He's the boss. But yeah, the teams, it's really nice, and I think we've been working sort of in that squad and team for a couple of years now, so it's it feels a bit like a little family, really. It's nice.
Nice. It must take a bit of pressure off you, and you can concentrate on the fun stuff, the making the rehearsing and the gigs and all that kind of stuff.
That's it. I think Mikey's always said that. He's like, let me do the admin, you crack on, get in the rehearsal rooms, get like nailing your craft, writing tunes. So it's brilliant. It's really good.
So talk us through how you've worked on your craft then. Talk us through what processes you've been able to do with this extra time, and take us behind the scenes of writing a new tune with Roller.
Um, so we at the minute we're pretty much in the rehearsal room every night.
Right.
Whether that's rehearsing for shows or doing social media content. That old bugbear, but yeah.
Did you not enjoy it?
Do you know what? We're learning to love it. I think
Okay.
we're learning to love it. But yeah, doing that and then writing tunes. Writing tunes tends to either be like one of us will come in with a bit of a shitty demo that's got some like Logic drums on it, and then
Yeah.
a riff over the idea, and then we'll just come in, listen to it, and then either me and McConnell will try and work it up to like an actual structure and a proper song with some lyrics, or we'll just jam out the idea as a full band until something works and comes out. I think we always work better writing songs when there's not much pressure to write them. Although we did write "We Owe You Nothing" with a bit of like clock ticking kind of thing. So maybe that's the way we start doing it. A bit more pressure put on and like saying, right, giving ourselves a bit of a deadline and going, right, we want 4 tunes written by 2 weeks or something. But yeah, it changes all the time, I think. I don't think there's any real recipe and process or method that we stick to every single time. It's just you sort of vibe it out, you feel it, and you know when you're playing and you're jamming, you know when you've got something and you work on that then and yeah, everyone puts their own little bit of sauce in it, and our kid does the bass, and then Tom puts his guitar parts in. Yeah, just work as a good network.
How do you know when a song's ready?
I don't think you ever do. I don't think you ever do. I mean, there'll be moments in the studio where you've finally finished it and you're listening back and you're like, yeah, this is it. But then you'll spend like another 2, 3 weeks mixing it, going, oh, I think this should be a little bit quieter, or this should be a bit louder. Yeah, I think you can go around in a vicious circle. I think sometimes you've just got to listen to it. You feel it. You just know. You know when you've got it, and it's like, are we just nitpicking now? And it's like, probably right. Let's just, you know when it's good enough. I think, and you know when it's not good enough as well.
Yeah.
You just yeah. It's like anytime you hear a song by someone and you're like, that's mega. That's a proper good tune. Or you hear a song and you're like, nah, it's not for me. It's kind of that similar style. When it's your own stuff, it's yeah, I know that's good. You follow that. You follow the feeling. I think just let the feeling take you, and yeah, get there in the end.
So the latest single, "Beautiful Lie," and there's an EP coming out as well the next day. Well, it'll come out. It's out now as we're speaking.
Yeah.
How do you pick like the singles from these type of things? Is it an easy process? Do you just say it or do the lads disagree? How does that work within the dynamics, or is it a label decision?
I think this time round it was a bit of a full team effort.
Yeah.
So we'd like sent out the EP once it'd been mixed to like Katie and the label and Mikey, and we all had a listen. I think the standout was "We Owe You Nothing." Was like that's got to be the lead track, just absolutely huge riff and massive chorus. So it was like, yeah, that's it. But I think when it comes to the others, I don't really know. I think
yeah,
"Beautiful Lie" is a single because it's a little bit different, a bit slower, and I think it's nice to switch it up a little bit and showcase what else we can do other than thrashing out and that. But yeah, I think sometimes you have ones that stand out more than others, and you're like, yeah, that'll definitely work. And then because we've got like "It Ain't Easy" and "The Slide," they were like the other two. And I think it boiled down to the fact that "It Ain't Easy" was 3.5 minutes long, and "The Slide's" over 4. Um, just that snappy sort of. It felt more like a single listening to it than sort of like that heavy guitar, progressive, getting bigger and bigger song like "The Slide" is. Oh, actually, does not really progressive because it starts massive at the beginning. But you know what I mean?
it just has to have some kind of something massive within it.
Yeah, something massive within it. But then again, it is hard. We're finding it hard now to rather than pick singles. The hardest we're finding is to pick a half an hour set. So I've been on tour with Pastel, and like we get half an hour supporting those lads, and it's like obviously we've got the new EP out, so we got to play those tunes. But then we got to drop. Sometimes we've been dropping like "Sweet Lullaby," which was one of our top songs, and not playing When Life's Thunder Striking over Beautiful Lie. So it's like that's getting tougher and tougher. Now we got more songs out. So I think that's probably the harder part than a single picking. But yeah, again, I think it changes every time. I think you either know when you've got one, or then it's like a bit of a process of elimination and box ticking almost, maybe. Sort of going, right, well, what does that tune do that this doesn't? That makes it more of a single, I guess.
Yeah, well, I can remember the last time we had a chat. You were really frustrated. Well, like when some of the reviews came out, you were really frustrated that little bit of lazy journalism, really comparing you to Oasis a lot. And I know that were a bit frustrating for you. Do you feel like you've kind of, let that by now? Do you reckon, things you've shaken that perception?
Yeah, I think we still get it, but I think we're kind of just like it's always going to be there, in it.
Yeah.
It's just who we are. So I think we have thought about maybe leaning into it a little bit, just going, no, fuck it. Now they're back together now. Let's
okay.
Into it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I think maybe we was a bit younger and a bit like this is our sound. Why are you comparing us to someone else? But now it's like I think we're mature enough now to accept that. I think.
Yeah,
and we know our tunes aren't that close to Oasis anyway, so it's just the style because we're Manchester.
Well, I've seen every release. I follow you closely on the socials and share stuff on RGM for you. I've been having a good listen to the tunes, and they are more. There's massive moments in them, definitely, but they are more melodic. It feels like. Is that a conscious? Well, that just
I think so.
You agree with that?
I think we tried to. I think a lot because previously a lot of our tunes were written through jamming, and that kind of just sort of feeling through it. So I think this time it was like, right, let's really structure this and think about how the song's written and how it goes from one section to the other. And I think through that you get that sort of melodic and more of a almost like a pop structure, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think it was needed because you've got to have, I think, any decent song needs that melody in it, and that's what makes it catchy. And I think we're maturing in our songwriting, and I think you can tell that, but especially with Beautiful Lie, I think that's one of the most like mature sounding and songs we've ever written. So it's definitely I think definitely improving for the better for sure.
Yeah. Do you find it easier to write songs now?
Yes and no. I go through phases, I think.
Yeah.
We'll go through a phase where we'll write 5 in 2 weeks, and then other times it'll be 3-4 months before we've even got a hint of a decent tune. So I think go through phases, but I think we know now we find it easy now when we got an idea and we know that it's good. We know we're a bit more we're better at starting that process off then and going, right, let's work this into a tune now. We know what we're doing. Let's follow that feeling. Just using our experience a bit more, I think. You go through.
It sounds like you're in a more mature place with it. You don't panic too much when something's not coming. You know it will come. You've got that confidence, I suppose, more now.
That's it, and I think we've done it before where we've been writing tunes and we've sort of gone. You kind of rushed through it, and they're not as good. You can't rush that sort of perfection, if you like. Sometimes songs just come out in 10 minutes and it's done. Like Sweet Lullaby, that was wrote in 20 minutes, front to back, all parts done, and it just fell out of the sky. But there's some tunes that you work with, like Beautiful Lie, I'd work with the chord progression for ages, and then the vocal melody come, and then it was working with it through the band. So I think forcing it is never a good thing. I don't think. I think you fall foul of not sounding yourself if you start forcing tunes out.
I'm always feel sorry for those poor little bastard tunes that just don't quite make it.
Got loads of those.
Have you? What do you do with those little poor little boys and
girls? Sometimes if we start writing again and we're a bit lost, going back to them is always good.
Yeah.
Because you can take out a little a little something for you don't have to use the whole tune and rework the whole tune. You could maybe take like a vocal line or melody or a lyric or a drum beat or whatever, a bit out of that that can spark inspiration for a new, completely different tune. So I think always keep them,
Yeah.
shelve them for a bit, and then come back to them. I think is always good. We did that with there's a tune that wasn't on this EP, but we've got now, and originally it was going to be on the EP, but then we finished Beautiful Line. It was like, yeah, but that's a great tune. It's like another sort of slow ballad that builds and builds and builds. But yeah, probably. I think we've been looking at going back to that one and hopefully release it at some point.
Sounds like it must be like a nice little fallback really, when you've got a bit of writer's block or whatever that thing is that just stops songs entering your mind. It must be nice just to have that back catalogue and all those tunes and whatever you're singing into your phone or whatever. However, it must be nice to have that as a fallback, I suppose.
It is. It is. I think we have also kind of have this mentality of like keep moving forward, and rather than going back and reworking old songs that at the time didn't work, they're probably not going to work now. So it's like still look back and try, but it always tends to sort of be no, let's come up with something fresh and something new and look forward rather than looking backwards, you know. So but yeah, they're always handy to have in the barrel.
Yeah, well, just changing pace a little bit and moving on to a different subject. I was looking online today, just having a little nosy about what's going on in the music industry around us, what's going on. And I saw a quote from Sam Fender, just saying that the music industry is really inaccessible for working class people at the minute. His quote: "It's a financial nightmare for somebody to try and be in a band these days." It's an intimidating place to, and how do you feel about his personal thoughts on this industry we love?
Yeah, I mean, he's been in the industry and at the top for a few years now, so he's probably well in his right to have an opinion like that. And he's probably it probably comes from experiencing himself. But for us, I think it's so hard. Like touring costs so much money. Luckily, we all work and we fund touring in that way. But I think it's definitely an issue. I think if anything, it's been created by design. I think it's been slowly changing over the years into this monster that can be controlled by the top, and I think he's right.
It must just take so long for you to be able to afford to tour. Just being out on the road's expensive. Not being at work, you have to take holidays. You save up working just to pay to kind of just chuck that money away sometimes and just have a pure gamble in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. It's if you're selling tickets, you're going to make money. So it's one of those. It's like just sell tickets, basically, as easy as that. But I think what it is, it's doing the groundwork and those slogging up and down the country. Used to be able to do it on the cheap, get a van, whatever. But now it's petrol's extortionate. A van hires like well over £100 a day. So for like a band up and coming that's like off in a council estate or something like that, or on the dole, artists on the dole, they're never going to be able to afford to go and do it. So then they're going to have to turn gigs down and not get the opportunity to go out and show the world. But I don't know. I think if you can, a bit of advice maybe would be if you've got a band together and it's a tight knit and you love it like we do, we're happy to throw our money into it and work hard at work, put the hours in, and then you've got the money then to go out and play these gigs that you love playing. So it's a bit of a shit way to think about it, but we love it. So
yeah, no,
and we make sure we do everything we can to keep doing it. It'd be great if we had a big pot of money off someone to do it without forking out our own pocket. But there is ways. Like merch is always good. Yeah. It's tough. There's no way around it. It is tough. But we all love it. That's why we do it. So and it won't be if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. So
well, yeah, and just circling back to what we were talking about earlier, where it does wean out the people that are that aren't really in it for the long term, the people that aren't committed to that side of the business really does.
Yeah, I think so.
It does weed
Yeah,
people out quickly, doesn't it?
yeah. I think that's it. But then also, it is a shame because people that genuinely have got the heart and are really good just can't afford to do it. Plain and simple, they cannot afford to do it, regardless of how much heart and passion they've got. They're not going to be able to walk up to Newcastle from Manchester to play a gig, are they? Like, I mean, it's just ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one, and I think it's becoming ever more prominent. It's like with Kate Bush, and as she was saying, is it Kate Bush or Kate Nash? I think Kate Nash. She was sort of saying that she's selling out over 1,000 cap venues and still making a loss on tours, and
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
scary thought.
yeah, just a big name like that. Well, I kind of think it's a big decision as a creative artist. At some point, you've got to kind of decide: am I just going to crack on and just go for this
Yeah,
and whatever, or am I just going to enjoy playing music, enjoy doing the odd gig now and again, get my guitar out, write songs, record, release music, do whatever you want to do. I don't want to discourage anybody from starting that
yeah,
journey. That's not what I'm about at all. But at some point, you have got to kind of make that decision yourself on: is it a hobby or am I just going to go for this thing?
that's it. That's it. I think you have to have that sit down with yourself and be like,
Yeah,
right, are we going all in here and graft it? And then we've always said like, as long as we're 120% into it, if it ever, God forbid, doesn't work out, we know then we've put as much effort as we could possibly put in, and time and effort and money, and then we're not then in 10 years going, oh, wish we'd have tried a bit harder. It's like, so I think you've got to be 100% in, and then if you're still struggling, then it's just a shitter because
yeah.
everyone should have that equal opportunity to make it and showcase the music, and it's just not like that at the minute. Um,
Well,
yeah.
everything you do is working for you guys at the minute. Does it feel like you're on a bit of a wave then, like getting onto the positive side of things? Do you feel like it must?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a wave that we've been riding over the last year, I think, and I think we're about to get to the top of that and start again. But New Central's like the peak, and we're gonna ride it out, smash it out, and then go again. Then we get on to the next wave and go even bigger. It's good. It's exciting. Really looking forward to this year.
How much does it hold, New Century Hall? What's
1,300, I think.
wow? Okay, so the next one after that's probably the Ritz,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then after Ritz, before the Arena, Apollo.
Apollo,
Here we go.
Main Academy. I know, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'd love to play the Apollo. The Apollo's a great thing.
Yeah, well, I just see like the lottery winners have followed that path, haven't they? And
Yeah,
Slovenia Club in the past and other Manchester bands. It must be. Sorry, I'll not talk about it. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on you. It's not fair.
it's good. No, it's exciting, especially in Manchester, because there is all them venues that go up the ladder,
Yeah,
like, and there is a path you can take as a band and move your way up through the venues, and it's the path pretty much every band takes.
yeah.
Like say Night Day, Griller, New Central, Ritz, onto the academies, then the Apollo's, Vic Warehouse, and then you've got like Castlefield Bowl outside, and then
Yeah.
onto the arenas. So it's exciting because you always watch bands at those venues, and you're like, that's got to be me one day, and yeah, it's exciting to work up that tree.
We are lucky in Manchester having that amount of venues. That's a massive plus for Manchester. I was watching one of the ratings videos that they put out on Sundays recently, and they were playing Birmingham again. And they were just having a chat between the band, and they said, "Why are we playing here again? Because we played it this time last year, and all the other venues were like a step up, like you do."
Yeah,
And it was just purely because the next step up after, I think it was O2 Academy in Birmingham, was the arena. There was nothing in
right.
between, so they couldn't do it. It was just
Yeah,
look at
it
that.
is. It's tough. I think the only thing in Manchester where you've got that bit of a gap is probably from like Gorilla size 500-600 and
Yeah,
Band on the Wall
yeah.
up to I think then the smallest. You got Club Academy, I guess, which is like 700,
Right.
and then you got like Academy 2 950, and then yeah. So to be fair, no, yeah, there is venues.
Yeah. No,
But yeah, I don't know how it'd be if we was in a different city that was like sparse of music and music venues.
Well, I'm from Sheffield, and you've got Sydney and Matilda. There's not that many gigs around anymore. I'm struggling to think off the top of my
Leadmill's struggling as well,
head.
isn't it?
Leadmill might not be there in a few months,
Shame.
3 months or something. My friend Neil Hargreaves put a tweet out, and he said there are some empty spaces in Sheffield, so hopefully something happens and something gets created, another little venue like the Plug and stuff. The O2 Academy's gone to shit. Something's gone on with concrete or something. So we are lucky in Manchester really to have that progression, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So life in camp at the minute. Then you've got this big gig on the horizon, New Century Hall, and then I'm just looking through your dates. Scunthorpe in June, July festival season kicks off. You're at Truck Festival, Godney Gathering. I'm just having a read of stuff here. Festival in Sheffield. Oh, nice one. Indie Showcase. And a few other things. You know, you'll be on tour as this interview comes out with Pastel as well. They seem like they're doing well as well. Those are like that. They seem like
so good live, man. Like, and Jack and James are like a comedy duo as well. Like, top lads, but tour's been great for them so far. Proper carnage, but yeah, doing great. Really doing great. That new album's fantastic as well.
So in camp Rolla then at the minute, talk us through. Then I'll just let you get off because I know you're at rehearsal now. You want to crack on and create some tunes.
All
right. So leave us a message for all the people that are hovering over the link that haven't pressed the button for New Century Hall and the tour and Sheffield and all these other places and the festivals and stuff like that. They're hovering over that link, mate. I've not quite pressed it yet. What would you say to those people to encourage them? The link is in the description of this podcast as well, so it's just under you, so you can press it quickly. Press it.
Stop fucking about. Get a ticket.
Well said.
Get a ticket. Won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
It's and I think we've really stepped up the live show this year as well.
Yeah, so the production. Yeah. Can you give us a little inkling of what we might expect? Lasers and shit.
Lasers, flames. I think just as like putting segues into tunes, making it like I think when we first started, it was plug in, play your tunes, fuck off. You know what I mean? Right. Now it's like we're really putting a big show on and just more performance in us from us and how we do the set list and just we've got a new SPD as well, so there's some like cool little flares in there that's going to sound cool. And so if you've seen us before, get another ticket because it's going to be better than last time.
Yeah. What's an SPD?
It's like a little launch pad thing for the drummer.
Right, got you. Right.
It allows us to sort of play like little samples of stuff.
Like a new toy.
Yeah, a new toy basically. Nice. It's great.
Okay.
So that's been working a treat because it allows us to really play. Because we use quite a lot of percussion in our tunes, but obviously we can't afford to pay someone to start playing tambourine and bongos whilst everyone else. So it's good to sort of have. We're not using it too heavily either. We didn't want to fall into that trap of just playing to a click track and not actually playing live. But it's just them little sprinkles that just make it. So that's looking forward to that. But yeah, if you've not bought a ticket yet, get a ticket.
Get a ticket.
It's going to be amazing. New Century Hall is going to be massive. It's as simple as that. It really is as simple as that. Just grab a ticket, man. Grab a ticket.
And even if you've never been to a gig before, just invest in Rolla. Just have how much are tickets?
17 quid, 15 quid, 17 quid.
It's a bargain, mate. It's a bargain.
Less than £20.
Less than 20 quid. There you go. So I'm encouraging anybody to watching this. You might be just catching me and James have a little chin mic for the first time. Grab yourself a ticket. And James, I'll let you crack off. Crack on. I'll let you crack on. Carry on with your tunes, mate. We'll always be supporting you here at RGM, and I really appreciate you joining us for a chat today, mate. All the best, pal. Thank you.
Nice one, Carl. Appreciate the support.
Cheers, mate. Nice one.
Cheers, mate.